It's time for Measure Twice.
Welcome to Measure Twice. I'm Rob Perugini, along with Chris Kramer from C. Kramer Interiors and Joel Graber from Graber Custom Remodeling. This is the show that helps you envision your home's potential, and you're listening to us on Michiana's News Talk 95.3 MNC. We're brought to you in part by Leatherman Supply. Everything windows, doors, cabinets, and countertops, with the showroom now open in Granger, right next to C. Kramer Interiors, and Hoosier Hardwood Floors, Michiana's trusted and valued experts on hardwood floors. You can visit them at HoosierHardwoodFloors.com. It's another glorious day inside this room. But it is. It's kind of cool. We're in that season in Indiana where it's 3 out of the 4 seasons all the time.
All the time?
Yeah. Which is cool.
Within an hour?
Yeah, within an hour. You can, the sun's there. We haven't seen it, but I'm sure it'll come back someday.
Yep.
But it got me thinking about some things like, this is kind of the time of year that people are like outside, they're raking stuff. The Lord only knows how much time Chris has spent outside around trees in the past.
Still doing it.
Never gonna stop.
Never gonna stop.
never gonna.
Yeah, never.
But outdoor is the thing now. Mm-hmm. And when we went to market, remember the outdoor lighting? The was copper. The copper lighting. And
Yeah.
Remember that? Oh my goodness. And we got to meet the designer of it, which was neat.
Yeah.
But it got me thinking, this is the time of year where you find out if it's going to work.
What's going to work?
Your outdoor stuff, like anything that you thought of or did last year. This is now because you're spending time outside.
But wouldn't you know if it's working already?
Maybe.
If you have outside lights, they would have worked all
I
winter?
guess the lights would, as an example, yes, Chris. Yes. But like the rest of the space, just like outside, like how is this thing flowing? And it got me thinking of what's the best decking material to make a deck? B, what are some of the things that you can do to make outside living, like be able to stay outside a little bit longer?
Throughout the seasons or just in general?
Just in general, like daily. Like I get throughout the seasons, you got to close it in.
Right.
You're not going to sit there with your
January with your glass of wine. And your parka.
Come outside.
Let me brush the snow off my chairs.
Everybody gets a fur coat when they go out. Everybody looks like a babushka out there. I meant like on a daily.
I
know.
I'm just yanking your chain here.
He's good at it though.
Yeah, he is.
Chris is like, he's sharp. You don't want to, let it hang out there. But I wanted to start with just foundationally though. This is for Joel. Is there more than one way to build a deck? Or is it just, look, if you're building a deck, this is what you do. Is there more than one design to build a deck?
Yeah.
Like structurally?
The fundamentals?
Yeah, the fundamentals.
I mean, the fundamentals are what they are. You can make it look however you want it.
I get the look. I meant like the thing being sturdy. Like, does it always need to be attached to the house?
No.
Do you always... You say this, but I watched a deck being built.
That wasn't attached to the house?
No.
Come on.
I'm not kidding.
What was it, like a patio? I mean...
It was.
What?
It looked like it should have been because there's a sliding door.
Was it its own? Must have been its own entity.
There are times where you have no choice but to build it kind of basically freestanding up. It's still up against. We've had to do that on historic stuff with porches
because you can't tie into
the old brick or.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay, so that wasn't like they probably had a reason.
Well, when you're saying separate from the house, it's like. What?
You walk out to it.
It's an island.
You have to jump?
I built an island deck.
Yeah.
Well, that's where my mind went. I'm like, wait a minute. That doesn't make any sense.
When they built it onto the house, it was not
attached to the house. Got it.
It was.
There must have been some reason for that. Generally, you have a ledger and you tie it to the house, flash it, and
right.
go.
Make it like part of the house.
Yeah.
So if you're not making it part of the house, it's just butts up to it.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what was going on this. But what got me is like, this is a brand new house. This house is 2 years old.
I don't understand. There had to be something else going on. I wouldn't do that.
Now they put a hot tub on it.
So
Okay, I didn't know.
That
just
shouldn't
beef
matter.
that up.
Yeah. And the other, like I'm like Gladys from Bewitched. I was like looking at it, The other thing is that if it is, this is about 6 feet because it's like over a walkout. You know what I mean? They built a new deck over the walkout. So it's pretty high up. It's like 10, 12 feet up. Do you just have the 4x4s or 6x6s? I don't know what they were. You can just use those. You don't have to, just the deck on top of them stabilizes them? The poles sticking out of the
you tie
ground?
them in, and they're in the ground or...
They're in the ground.
Yeah.
So you don't need anything across to, like, stabilize them. Just the deck itself.
No, I mean, you stabilize them before everything's framed.
But then when the deck... Because that's what I was looking at. It looks like this thing is just going to teeter, like...
I mean, if it's not tied to the house, that is a little bit sketchy.
I don't mean to judge, but I was judging.
If it's that high...
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know anything about it. So it's other than what
Called
you're
the
saying.
swinging deck.
Yeah. And they put a hot
I
tub on
can't say
it.
what I'm thinking. I just can't say what I'm thinking. So
And they put a hot tub on it.
yeah,
Oh boy.
it's definitely wild. And I've had the opportunity to watch you guys build one, and you had like this, you could park a Sherman tank on it, and it was only 4 feet off the ground.
The one thing that just popped in my head when you were talking about it, it's over a walkout basement.
Yeah.
I was at a house recently where they had, same thing, walkout deck above, and it was raining. And all I could think of was they need a structure,
The underdeck.
the under deck.
System, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, I don't know. They're not really that expensive to put in.
Because we're standing out there looking, and it's like drip, drip, drip. And I'm like, oh, they need a...
Yeah, this
Yeah.
could have been a great place to hang out, but it's not.
Yeah, but not now.
And by the way, that's why you have a bunch of spiders under there, because there's water under there. And
Well, and not to mention mold or whatever, moss that can build up with the moisture.
yeah, and those systems are relatively straightforward, right, Joel? Like
Yeah.
a water. I mean, if your deck's 2 feet off the ground, obviously.
So it's called an underdeck?
Yeah, there's underdeck.
Is that a brand name, or is that just what you call it?
I just think
Somebody
I
were
don't
to-
think it's the brand name. I don't know that I've ever run across an underdeck brand name, but yeah, it's a system that will run to a gutter and
then get the water out,
dump
and then
the
move
water
it on.
out. Yeah.
Just thought about that, and then it got me thinking: if your deck should not move, right? Like when you walk on it, it should be stable. I'm not saying that because I've been on one, but I was thinking to myself, this freestanding deck. I'm thinking when you walk,
It definitely should be stable. I mean, if it's not, if it's
no movement.
if it's
It shouldn't move.
flexing
No
or if
shift.
it's moving, if it's shifting back and forth, there's probably something wrong.
yeah. Ever since you guys talked, this was off air. We didn't talk about this on air, but like the span, we were talking about the span of floors and how, like,
Yeah,
it shouldn't. You shouldn't feel this.
you
when
shouldn't be
someone-
able to feel the deflection.
No deflection, and that includes a deck. If somebody feels deflection on their floor in their house, what's going on generally?
It's not. It wasn't engineered to. There's something wrong like with the engineering where it's either spanning too much, typically spanning too much for the weight that it's carrying, and so
Right.
then, yeah, or it just doesn't. Yeah, it's not. It's
Something in the engineering
It needs something to beef it up.
And there you go. That just made me think. Watching that deck being built was kind of like, oh, I'm judging it. And I'm not, I'm like the guy who had a business law class who thinks they can defend you and for your speeding ticket. But it was just looked to me like kind of strange that it was way up there, not part of the house.
That is a little bit different.
Yeah, it was a good 4 inches from the house, by the way.
Not the decking though.
No, they filled it in, went all the way to the house then, but like the structure, you could reach reach in, like there was space. It's pretty wild.
Yeah,
pretty wild.
it is wild.
And, the nosy neighbor was judging. I'm just saying, I was like, this doesn't look right to me. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know about that either.
But, the how long does it normally take to put up like a 20 by 20 deck? Perfect scenario. Everything's available.
Framed?
Yeah, framed. And is it a 1 week job?
Nothing else is there beforehand?
Yeah, everything's perfect.
You're tying into the house?
Yeah.
Yeah, a week.
Yeah, about a week. That's what I figured. But when we come back, I want to talk about like how to make that space awesome. This is Measure Twice. Welcome back to Measure Twice. I'm Rob Perugini, along with Joel Graber from Graber Custom Remodeling and Chris Kramer from C. Kramer Interiors. This is the show that helps you envision your home's potential, and you're listening to us on Michiana's News Talk 95.3 MNC. We're brought to you in part by Leatherman Supply. Everything doors, cabinets, and countertops with the showroom now open in Granger, next to C. Kramer Interiors. And Hoosier Hardwood Floors, Michiana's trusted and valued experts on hardwood floors. You can visit them at HoosierHardwoodFloors.com. I know we're talking about like a potpourri of things, but really we're talking about the outside. And something that excites me is the thought of like outdoor kitchen. That's like a real thing, But I understand that an outdoor kitchen, it's not a complete kitchen.
You can get there. There's outdoor appliances.
Like a sink and like
you can do that.
Garbage disposal type thing, or
if you want to, you can do all that.
So what
you have to winterize stuff then.
Well, that's what I thought.
You can't just.
Does it make a whole lot of sense? To do that
in Arizona.
Yeah, true in Arizona.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that will poo-poo the outdoor kitchens around here. I think that I would love to have one, and I would have some of the appliances. I probably wouldn't run water to it.
Probably not, just because of the winter. You'd have to drain the line, make sure it's drained.
That's more work than I want to deal with.
And that's what everybody else feels too.
Yeah.
When you go through what you have to do for winter prep, and then opening it again in the spring,
right?
They're like, okay, not a good idea. Okay, nope.
No.
We'll do a nice grill area, and
like I could see like a food prep area.
Yeah,
I did see in prep for this show. I did see a portable water system, where it's basically a 5-gallon, like a water cooler water, and like it's like a pump, and you just put that underneath the sink, and it's just enough to do what you got to do. But
to rinse or
like,
whatever seems like a more work than it's worth.
Might as well run just a hose to it.
I guess you could just run a hose to it. This was just like really super. It looked like a pool pump, like not a big one, but like a miniature pool pump, and it sent it through a faucet, and that was sufficed as the sink.
Yeah.
But it was elegant looking. It didn't look bad. It looked like a real sink. But what was making it function behind the scenes was that.
Right.
But there was no on that one. There was no video. It was just picture of it. I don't know how if it worked or not. But my guess where I'm going is okay. If you build an outdoor kitchen area, and I don't mean like with the running water. I just mean like you have a griddle, a smoker. You have a bunch
pizza
of
oven.
Yeah, you have pizza oven. That's a must. Take my word for it. Ladies and gentlemen, go rogue. Buy one. That's awesome.
A pizza oven.
Yeah, totally worth it. Totally worth it. Especially when you get it down to get the pizza off. It's awesome. And it's awesome for shrimp, by the way. Not just pizza. You can cook all kinds of stuff in that thing. But I digress. So you have this bunch of stuff that you should have, right? Or could have. You start with the gas grill and you work outwards, I guess. if you want to cover that, let's say you want to have a covered portion of your deck so that you can extend the time.
I think you want to.
Okay, great. You're going to cover it because we haven't even gotten a design yet. What do you need to put over the grill so that you're not catching the place on fire or creating like a grease
Distance.
Yeah.
Is it?
That's the biggest thing.
I don't. Are you being sarcastic?
No,
or?
distance.
The height.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me more about that then, because don't you need to have like a hood system or something?
No. You want it high enough that if for some reason you do have a fire, the flames aren't going to get to the roof of that. You can do any number of things. You could do a solid roof that's a part of your house that comes out and
covers the
grill area. You could do a pergola. It doesn't matter what you do as long as there's that space.
It could be a porch extension on the back of the house that you have your grill under.
And you're saying you can cover those, and it's not that big of a deal. You wouldn't put like metal over it or something.
No, don't need to.
I mean, one of the other reason that you would want distance is because
it's hot.
Well, that and it will catch any smoke. So you want to make sure that it's not just
stuck.
Hanging it.
Well, so I did see a less than elegant solution for that, where it was, if you could imagine that, it was obviously online, so it was dolled up, but they had, griddle. I don't know if they had a pizza oven. They should have. But let me see.
That's
okay,
one
so
we're
that's
doing
high
there.
enough. That looks like it's 10 feet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, at least.
Right.
And it's at the very end of. It's not in the middle of the.
That would be kind of crazy if you put it in the middle there. But so you're saying just that height. But the one I saw for the smoke, because this, it was from, I can't remember the website, but it was a smoker. They sold smokers. So the website did not have anything to do with building. They were just showcasing smokers. Okay. So they had stainless steel fans, like just 3 of them hanging. They were, kind of airplane-y looking, and they were angled away. So it looked to me like if smoke was coming out, these fans were on pushing the smoke out.
I mean, I guess you could do that. If you had a ceiling fan in that area, it would move the air enough that smoke would dissipate too.
Because I think
because it would push it.
That's a legitimate concern. Is if you have a smoker, there's going to be smoke. But you can also take the chimney and you can direct the smoke out of the smoker.
On a smoker, yeah.
Yeah. It's not like you're stuck with, there are things I guess you could do. Yeah. But I was really worried about, like, man, this thing's going to catch, this is hot. I am going to overheat this roof.
You would have to really get out hot. It's not, I mean, like you push your grill up against I've seen that plenty of times where people have pushed their grill too close to the house and melted their siding or whatever.
Yeah, I've seen that before.
But
I was a doer of that. You fixed the siding.
Yeah,
that I did.
You're within. I mean, that's, you're a foot, 2 feet away from it. Yeah, you're gonna that heat's gonna be an issue.
But if you're like the picture Chris just showed was,
I mean, that thing's you're gonna have 6 feet in between without an issue.
Yeah,
easy.
And it's not like you're having open flame that's 6 feet tall. If you have a 6 foot open flame, almost wherever that is trouble.
Well, when you think about it, like if you're at your grill and it's so hot that 6 feet away, it's gonna start something on fire. You have bigger issues.
Yeah. What are you cooking?
Yeah.
you're that's a forge.
I mean,
it's not a.
We've been working on like the aluminum pergolas with the motorized louvers, and so that's a great option because it will close, it will open. So if you wanted to put your grill under that, that wouldn't be an issue there.
Right. So, and a lot of those you can open just half the louvers.
Yeah.
And you can just have that open where you need it. So, but I wanted to get like the safety parameters out of the way, like structurally. Like they're not really heavy enough that you have to do anything different to your deck if it's a deck. Right? I mean,
I guess it depends on what you do.
Well, okay. And like household application, not.
Yeah, generally no.
I mean, I guess if you had marble or granite countertops with that.
Well, it depends on how the deck was constructed. I've seen some that are just, I wouldn't put much weight on it.
Yeah, like the one that's not attached to the house.
Yeah.
Although there's
But they've got a hot tub on there.
they got a hot tub on there.
That's the anchor. That's the anchor.
It's the party
Hold it
house.
down.
It's shaped like a barrel. No, I'm just kidding.
Shaped
Remember those?
like a barrel.
Remember like a keg? If I had a hot tub, I'd shape it like an enormous keg. Like we were just beer in there. But I would never step foot in a hot tub. So there you go. I'm not going in. Okay. I just wanted to get like the safety parameters. It's safe to have a grill in your deck. There's billions of decks with grills on them.
I don't know if there's billions, but
There's a few.
A lot.
there's quite a few.
Yeah. It's probably 70% saturation of decks to grills. But you're saying the height is what makes it safe. You don't need to put an Ansel system into your house.
Right.
But to accomplish that, you can cover your grill, but have it along the perimeter, and you're good to go. Sounds like you're a proponent of a covered deck.
Yeah. I don't like getting. I mean, I like the sun, but I don't. When I'm trying to enjoy it outside and just hang out, I don't want I don't want to just be sitting in the sun,
Right.
grilling myself.
But when we come back, I want to talk now. How do we design this thing? What's the perspective? Like, what's the steps? When we come back, this is Measure Twice. Welcome back to Measure Twice. I'm Rob Perugini, along with Joel Graber from Graber Custom Remodeling and Chris Kramer from C. Kramer Interiors. This is the show that helps you envision your home's potential. And you're listening to us on Michiana's News Talk 95.3 MNC. We are brought to you in part by Leatherman Supply. You know it. Everything windows, doors, cabinets, and countertops with the showroom now open in Granger, right next to C. Kramer Interiors. And Hoosier Hardwood Floors, Michiana's trusted and valued experts on hardwood floors. You can visit them at HoosierHardwoodFloors.com. We're talking about decks. Pregnant pause. Mm-hmm. But yes, you can cook on your deck. You should cook on your deck. It's the way things should be.
Well, are we just talking decks, or are we just talking outdoor living spaces?
Well, I wanted to get outdoor living space, I guess, is a better way to term it, because it doesn't have to be a deck, does it?
No.
Chris, what's your favorite thing to design when you're looking at outside? Do you have a preference? Like, man, what's your personal preference on outdoor space?
As far
From
as
the
patio,
Yeah, like from a patio,
Pavers.
outdoor living. You like pavers? And we all know Chris is it's hard to get his likes out because you suppress them because of your job all the time. Like he's very. That's what makes you good at it. You don't let your own personal stuff get in. But we all live in a house. So you like pavers. Do you have pavers at your house? Mm-hmm. You have now? And there's some maintenance involved with pavers?
If it's done right, eventually, but
not really.
Not really.
Not really. When you're helping design a house, and let's just start with a new build. What suggestions do you usually start with outdoor? Like, obviously positioning, right? Where this thing's going to be.
That's always a good idea.
Yeah, yeah. But then from there, what kind of questions do you usually ask the homeowner about their outdoor space?
Their intended use. What is this going to be? What one we're working on now is by Notre Dame. Are you hosting tailgates and things of that nature? What type of seating do you need? What do you we just put in a built-in fire pit. So what type of seating do you want around that? And so we just kind of design it based on that. Then we help make the finished selections for the pavers that just went in. And one of the things that I looked at was the concrete porch on the back. I was thinking, boy, if we had just clad this in bluestone.
Oh yeah, that's beautiful.
Which would be
what
stunning.
What do you mean clad?
Just bluestone's like a tile
over the
really thick.
just really thick. You just apply it to the concrete, just like you would a tile floor.
And it's
far more finished than just poured concrete.
Poured concrete.
Especially when you're doing you went through the expense of putting in a pavered patio, and then you just have a plain concrete
Yeah.
coming off of it. Just doesn't feel quite as finished.
Right. It feels like that's undone.
Undone.
Like we're waiting for that to be done.
Yep. It's like, well, now what do we do with the concrete to pull it together with the other outdoor spaces?
It's going to be a dumb question, but when you say Bluestone, is that a brand name or are you talking about the color?
Color. It's a type of stone. It's like a slate, but it's blue.
Okay, so Bluestone is a I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And it's
gorgeous.
Right.
It has variations of blues and greens and grays and tans, and it works with just about anything.
Yeah.
And you can just set that on there, or is there some sort of substrate or whatever?
No substrate, just it's put down like
tile.
Exterior tile.
But
so
there's like a grout or something underneath.
mortar or not mortar. Well, there's mortar.
What goes under that, Joel? We're stumped.
Well, I would assume now you would put in like a Detramat and then do the uncoupling with that. So that it
Using these
actually
terms.
I
Like, we know what the
beg
term is.
your pardon.
Yes, we're going to uncouple now.
How dare you?
I mean, like Bluestone doesn't move near as much because it's heavy, but
He's lost the room.
But it can loosen under. It can.
it will. Yeah,
It will if it's not put down right. That
That's why I was
adhesive will
wondering.
eventually
That's why
Well, that's what I was thinking. There had to be some sort of
substrate or something
Yeah.
that goes under.
That's why I was wondering if like the Detramat, the orange stuff that we use in tile, with the uncoupling mortar is something that you use a lot of times with that. And that's a lot more stable. No, I don't know.
you wouldn't put like a border around it to hold it in.
No.
And just
No.
sounds cool looking. I'm gonna look that up.
I love
That-
Bluestone.
Yeah,
Love
I
Bluestone.
think it's really cool.
It's like 2 inches thick.
Okay,
Yeah, most of the time.
right. And so with this particular place by Notre Dame, it's are you going to do like you? The question is, are you going to have like 40 people out here partying like
Or
that
20
type thing?
people. Or 10.
Or are you going to sit and have a conversation type thing? Because they're different spaces.
But you design that. I mean, the garage is also another spot that we decked out for entertaining. So it's not just the patio. The garage is open to the pavers or sliding doors. So
So you got the garage door opens, but then you have an
you got
exit
the garage
towards
door
the back.
open. Then you also towards the fire pit. There's these large double doors that you can open.
So it's just one long.
one long big
Gotcha.
flow.
So it's really all about the flow.
It's all about the flow.
And so it is designed to throw a party.
Outdoor spaces are designed and planned just like you do a regular interior or a regular home.
But not like by Notre Dame. The assumption is that this could be a tailgate.
This isn't just Notre Dame. This is how you propose it, whether you're wherever you are and designing an exterior space. How's it coming? How's it connecting to the back of the house, or what do I need to do to make this flow easily? How much space do I want to allow for this?
Right.
Sun control is another. Joe brought that up. Sun control is another big issue.
Joel, what's the direction that if your deck faces south, right? That's got to be the most
Southwest.
south or west.
Yeah.
That's the big.
Get a lot
South
of
is
heat.
all day long in its heat. So,
Yeah.
maybe, okay, I did this beautiful patio area, but I can't sit out here because I'm baked in the sun. So they add a pergola or
Maybe not metal furniture.
metal furniture doesn't hold the heat.
I feel like it's like a frying pan.
Really? Aluminum?
Yeah, most of the time that's cooler than like if you have because a lot of you people get the composite stuff that holds
Composite holds heat.
Yes.
holds heat.
Composite decking holds heat.
Yeah.
Now, and that's the good and the bad and the ugly, right? The composite decking, awesome.
Yeah.
You don't need to do anything to it. It does
Other
stay
than throw
hot.
a rug over it so that you can walk on it.
You can skate. You can.
Yeah.
But I thought they've come a little ways on grippy.
It's not the grip, it's the heat. It's the
heat.
burn.
Oh, the burn.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
heat.
The soles of your
You can feel it through your flip flops.
no.
Oh, yeah.
Well, barefoot. Oh, ow. Oh.
There's a house on Diamond Lake that it's hot. They need to put a tree in. Something there because it's super hot. You got to figure.
That's why you do a pergola or something that kind of deflects some of that heat, that sun.
Because if you're just partying out there and everybody's like, it's like a movie set party where everybody's standing up and dancing, that's one thing. But generally when you're entertaining, it's not like Animal House out there. It's like people are sitting here,
They're
walking around.
conversing. They're,
and the heat just cramps that.
Oh, yeah.
It's not good.
Correct.
Yeah. So
otherwise, when you start seeing them pick up their chairs and shuffling to the shade, I mean, that's
everybody's
kind of
like clumped.
Yeah, and it's just warm because you're all sitting next to each other, shoulder to shoulder, in the
because
shade.
we're all under the shade.
Yeah.
But, so that's not those are ways to prevent that from happening.
One of the cool things that you can do to research this is look at patios in the Southwest, how they operate, because they've got it down. They don't put a lot of like walls up. They're all just basically open. Like the picture you just showed me, Chris, of the outdoor kitchen. Mm-hmm. Notice there's no like railings. There's it's just nothing.
You want that air to move.
Want that airflow. Where sometimes if you have a deck, you're surrounded by a railing because code says you have to have a railing.
Depending on the height of the deck. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Well, when glass panel, like the glass panels for...
That's where I was going.
A lot of people would... People would put them all the way around, and it's just like you're asking to get baked.
My friend, this is a different house on Diamond Lake. When he was putting his deck up, we were all like, why are you putting glass up? He's like, well, so I can see the lake. And I'm like, dude, it's going to be hot up here. You're blocking 40% of your breeze.
Yeah.
And he's like, no. Guess what? One summer, it's gone. And now he has the airline wire, cable. You know, it's black. It's cool looking, you know.
Yeah, I like the cable.
But you got to think of that, too, because if you're in the sun and you put up a barrier for breeze, oh, boy. Now your furniture is that. But when we come back, let's talk a little bit more about that design of your outdoor space, and I can learn how much I don't know about it. This is Measure Twice. Welcome back to Measure Twice. I'm Rob Perugini, along with Chris Kramer from C. Kramer Interiors and Joel Graber from Graber Custom Remodeling. This is the show that helps you envision your home's potential, and you're listening to us on Michiana's News Talk 95.3 MNC. We're brought to you in part by Leatherman Supply. Everything windows, doors, cabinets, and countertops at the showroom, now open in Granger next to C. Kramer Interiors. And Hoosier Hardwood Floors, Michiana's trusted and valued experts on hardwood floors. You can visit them at HoosierHardwoodFloors.com. We're outdoors, you know. To quote George Thorogood. And you can Google what song that is. But talking about outdoor space and the design, and we were talking about like heat management and sun management, right? Is that what you call it? Sun control.
Sun control.
Sun control. So you don't have 50 umbrellas like blowing around. I don't know. Some of these places you need like industrial wind strength umbrellas because they like wind.
Yeah.
Are umbrellas okay though? They're kind of cool looking.
Yeah.
I think they're
necessary.
Yeah. I think they look neat when you're out there. I don't know if I love the one that like hangs over. Like it's like
don't they all hang over?
No, it's got like the arm.
Oh, I know what you're talking
it's
about.
like a hammock.
The big ones.
Yeah, they kind of take up a lot of space.
They do.
That's a commitment.
Yeah,
and even when they're folded down and because their bases are huge, and they're just kind of
hard to hide.
You don't hide them.
Yeah, you and I guess sometimes you might need a. Therefore, when you need like a 14-foot umbrella, right? Industrial size umbrella, but the umbrellas on a table and stuff, or around a table or in a sitting area, I think it's kind of cool. It's kind of vacation-y looking. When you go to like a resort and there's umbrellas,
got your pina colada, and just kind of sit there with in your rocking outdoor lounge chair under the umbrella with your drink in your hand.
Force everybody to wear white head to toe. That's about it's white day. Everybody's in their jumpsuits.
It's very White Lotus.
Is it really? I've not seen that show, and I don't think we should talk about it from what I know about it.
Don't talk about that show.
My goodness. Okay, so if somebody comes in and they've determined, like, we're going to entertain, one of the questions I have is if you have an elegant backyard area, and what I mean by that is you don't have the giant rectangle. You know, we always talk about the back of the house is a giant rectangle with like 4 windows.
Yeah.
Kind of nothing going on back there. But if you have like different levels, when you're building the house, like in the design of the house, that needs to happen then, right? You need to kind of have an idea of what your outdoor space is going to be when you're building a new house.
Well, I mean,
it can't be an afterthought, is what I'm saying.
Right? No, it's planned.
It has to be.
It's discussed before the building phase starts.
Is there?
But that's if a new house. But what if you have an existing home that you just want to redo
that's
the
where
back?
I was going to go. Like, okay, so you didn't do that,
right? Right. You're adding it to the existing house, an existing home.
I think sometimes with the you know, if you have a big rectangle house, because that's what happened. You know, sometimes the deck adds that layer that you need.
Well, the outdoor space can definitely elevate the house itself.
Yeah. Even from I'm talking about like aesthetically. Like,
That's what I'm talking about.
Because you kind of need something to break up the big wall. When my wife and I were looking for a house, do you know how many houses we went to? And the back was kind of like the big rectangle, and they would just have stairs from the sliding door down. No deck. Not even in the show. Like, this was in the heyday when you couldn't even find a house to buy.
That's still that way, but
well, it is. But it's like some builders were like throwing in the towel. Like they weren't even
trying too hard.
Yeah,
that's
well, they didn't have to.
Yeah, they didn't have to. That's a cost issue. Why do it? They're going to sell the house without that. They can put it in later.
But I found it hard to visualize the backyard because it was just like wide open. You know what I mean? Like,
but that's why you hire someone to help you envision your home's potential.
There you go. See, we brought it full circle. But, okay, so let's say, Chris, when you look at a design of a house, like if they're like, we need to do something with this backyard, where do you start? You start by, are you entertaining or are you just sitting out here and chatting? Right, okay.
Well, it usually starts with their conversation is we need to do something. This isn't adequate.
Right.
For our needs. Well, what are your needs? What are you thinking? Well, I'd like to have an outdoor. We'd love to have a outdoor fireplace with a seating area around it, and this is kind of our wish list. And then it's like, okay, we have your wish list, so here's how we can design this space.
What's possible? So you go from wish list to possible.
You know, and they'll tell you, I don't want a deck. I'd rather have this. I don't, or I do want a deck. Something easy to maintain, but typically we'll have 20 people over.
Right.
We have large gatherings or whatever, so you just kind of...
Where do I put them?
Where do you put them? So, and then you look at... I usually then look at, okay, the direction of your back of the house faces north. I mean, I'm just using it hypothetically.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
So, so that doesn't mean you don't get a lot of direct sunlight throughout the day. So what's the best way to design the space depending on the direction of the sun?
And that is a big deal. That is a big deal.
It is. And then when that's done, Joel, then you come in and like this is how we make this happen. It feels like there's a lot that's possible though from a builder's perspective in nowadays, like you can make a lot happen as a builder.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I'm not saying it's easy, right? And we always say like, hey, if you have time and money, I mean, you can do whatever it is you want. But I think nowadays with composite decking and your options, there's a lot of solutions out there that aren't crazy expensive either. Like you can.
Right now it feels like everything's crazy expensive.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Well, in my mind though, it's like everything's crazy expensive, so that's the new normal. So now it just
that way.
It's just expensive to you guys because you've been in it long enough to know the difference. But if somebody's not ever priced it, that's the price of things. That's what I call it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, there's so many options. That can be the problem.
Well, that's what I was going. Like wood deck, is that gauche now? Like to put down?
They're still doing pressure treated lumber.
Yeah, you can do a wood deck if that's. And certain houses, it's probably appropriate.
And don't be afraid of them.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you should just make the decision based on what you have in front of you.
And yes, I mean, a lot of our decision making does boil down to cost.
Mm-hmm.
Pavers seem a little bit more pricey than
It would be more pricey, especially when you watch
More labor.
When you watch, I was going to say, when you watch them install them and you see what they're doing, and that is a lot of labor to make sure that they're not going to move and shift and
not to get sidetracked on that, but it hypnotizes me watching them put it down there. I can't look away.
I find it fascinating. I could sit on a lawn chair and watch them.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, you're the guy that everybody's like, oh, I got to go to work
you
at
just
this
can't do it in a
place.
school zone anymore. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
There's no more pressure in the world than working on somebody's project that they're watching they're over your shoulder.
Yeah, and
it's so uncomfortable.
It would be terrible, but I would want to just emphasize that I'm not judging you. I'm fascinated. It's like watching somebody play Tetris. It's just like, wow.
It's like if I'm hanging out working a client's home and they're standing behind me watching. It's like
I literally one time had I know this is way off, but had a homeowner's father was helping me.
Oh, boy. That's good.
He really wanted to help on that project. So he was helping me.
Please, no dads.
Oh.
So it was okay.
Is that like the Progressive commercial?
That's not how you build a fire. That's my favorite commercial. Okay,
That's funny.
that is my favorite.
I love those commercials.
I don't want them to go away. I want them to. We're not sponsored by Progressive.
No, we're not. But
Wow.
Their commercials are
What great
fun.
commercials. But yeah, I didn't mean that in a supervisory sense. I'm just amazed at how much goes into it, but how fast and efficient they are
Yes.
doing it.
Oh, it's incredible.
I was watching him put the sand down and then leveling the sand with the board and how smooth and perfect it was.
Yeah.
And when the paver patio is spectacular. I mean, it's perfectly level. It is beautiful.
And you're dealing. And
Well, even when they put the limestone in before that,
I didn't see that part.
every facet.
Somebody that's good at it, that looks like I could just use this.
Yeah, well, we just right because they have to
do such a nice job.
Well, let's talk about that next week on Measure Twice. Thanks for listening.
Podcasts by Federated Media.